I'm just curious, this is just a purely, like, what do you observe question. Talk to me about the guys you see in the church. What do you think specifically young men, what do you think the condition of young men in the church is? This is a
And
really broad
I
and
know,
probably
I'm like,
unfair
in what
question,
regard?
but what comes to mind?
I think I don't know. Can you give me
Yeah,
a little more?
are they what they ought to be? Are they
Mm,
like, specifically young men too? I think the older men who stuck to church have had it's sticky, right? Like the word has an impact over years and generations. I this is it calls to mind because last Christmas, happened to be at my folks and went to the local coffee shop, and I just happened to end up sharing a table with these it was a young woman and a young man, and she was there, like, dressed very stylishly and so forth, right, by herself, and then he showed up, and it was clearly like, there was a "I'm in town" group chat somewhere, and they connected, right? So they weren't like a couple or anything like that. Um, and turns out they were Christians, and I just listened for 45 minutes while he tried to use his the fact that they were both Christian as like his launch, like as a device for flirting, I guess. And just one, failing miserably. Two, like she was clearly more mature in her faith than he was,
okay.
and yeah, he was still trying to use it. So I guess the worst end, right? And
Mhm,
then the proper end, we would say, are like these guys coming out of the church are just like spectacular young men.
mhm,
Um, if I'd follow him anywhere, if you were going to put him on a just generally speak, again, this is a totally unfair question.
mhm.
Where do you think young guys today, at this moment, at least in our circles, where do you think guys fall on that spectrum?
I think the ones I've interacted with who are, like, currently in church, I would say maybe, like, 0 is, like, the worst end and 10 is like, around, like, 6 or 7, I'd say, like, their faith is there, their belief is there, but, like, the Christian life part of it is, like, they might not have the guidance or they just might not know where to go with it, like, the direction they need. Yeah, I think a big part of it is just, like, having the hard like, they don't know how to have the hard conversations and, like, talk things through to get through temptations and stuff. Because if you are a man my age in church, you've already overcome a lot more probably, like, temptation and hardship than women have. I think that's why I was surprised with that statistic. Because usually it was, "Oh, men have a lot more distractions out there." So this is, so that's why, like, they might not be in church as much because they can find, like, desires and fulfillments elsewhere. But then okay, I'm in church now, I believe what I believe, but, like, how are you going to then use that to kind of, like, live a godly life and honor God in that way? And I think that might be the piece that's kind of missing, and I think it's just because maybe there wasn't great examples. People and I like, you don't wanna hear your dad tell you what to do when you're, like, a 20-year-old man. So I think, like, mentorship is a huge thing that I just have never really seen in our, like, circles. Like, 20-year-olds, low 30s, like, mentoring college students and young professionals and just being like, "I just went through this phase of life, and I'm still kinda cool in a way, and, like, this is, like" and it's more recent too, so, like, they would rather listen to you and just, like, being able to, like or have someone like, "Hey, I'm struggling with this. How do I, go about this situation or struggle or temptation or whatever?" I think that, like, deeper piece of, like, church community might just be missing to, like, help them level up.